Hello students, I Kamlesh Kumar. Welcome to all of you at my YouTube channel Social Science Academy. In the previous video, we started the chapter of class 9 history, that was Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution, and we have already discussed many of the things. So in this video, we are going to start the topic, the coming of socialism in Europe. So let us begin. Perhaps one of the most far-reaching visions of how society should be structured was socialism. By the mid-19th century in Europe, socialism was a well-known body of ideas that attracted widespread attention. Means, whatever the features of this socialism was, that there will be community ownership of the property, means of production will be owned by the community as a whole. This was becoming very popular by the mid-19th century in Europe, and many people were attracted to these ideas, these political ideas of the socialism. So socialists were against private property and saw it as the root of all social ills of the time. So very important line you can underline and you can write down in your notebook also, that in the one line how you can define socialist ideas. So socialists are against the private property and they see these properties as the roots of ills, every ills of the society. Why they think so? Individuals owned the property that gave employment, but the property were concerned only with personal gain and not with the welfare of those who made the property productive. Means, suppose a person is having huge property, money, building, car. So who produced this car? So it must be respected in the views of socialists. The means of production, the producer must be respected, and it has to be given credit. So they are against the property. So if society as a whole, rather than single individuals, controlled property, more attention would be paid to collective social interest. Socialists wanted this change and campaigned for it. Means, what happened? If property will be concentrated in the hand of in few hands, then they will think for the welfare of only for themselves. But property will be owned by community as a whole, means there will be greater welfare of the society in the views of these socialist ideas. So they advocated, they campaigned for it, they started movement for it in Europe. Now, how could a society without property operate? What would be the basis of socialist society? So this is a very good question and it must be understood here. So how could society without a property operate? If there will be no property, then how could society operate? There will be the chances of conflict, that in without property the human beings will not be able to fulfill their needs. So what will happen? So socialist gives a solution for them. Socialists had different vision of the future. Some believed in the idea of cooperatives. Robert Owen, in bracket here written as 1771 to 1858, you must know the meaning of it, that in 1771 he born and in 1858 he died. So if such type of word would be written in book about any person, so you should consider that this is the birth and this is the death of this individual person. So Robert Owen was a great socialist. A leading English manufacturer sought to build a cooperative community called New Harmony in Indiana. Indiana is a state in USA. So he focused on cooperative community. Cooperative community means the people will come together and they will think for the benefit of their own, and they will work collectively for every individual. So that is the cooperative. Other socialists felt that cooperatives could not be built on a wide scale only through individual initiatives. They demanded the governments encourage cooperatives. Means some of the socialists believed that there should be a government and government should take initiative to promote cooperative societies, isn't it? So in France, for instance, Louis Blanc was another philosopher who born in 1813 and died in 1882, wanted the government to encourage cooperatives and replace capitalist enterprises. Capitalist enterprises means those who are having wealth, accumulated with wealth, and those who are trying to make profit by investing in various businesses. So he discouraged this, and he advocated that the government should take initiatives to promote these cooperative societies. So these cooperatives were to be associations of people who produced goods together and divided the profits according to the work done by members. Means what the magnitude of the work of the individual, in that proportion he would be given credit or the profit. So they advocated such type of things. Now the great philosopher of his time and all time, we can say, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. They are very great philosophers. Name of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. You can see these names in every subject, not only in history. They are in political science also. They are in literature also. So everywhere you can see these names. They were very great philosophers of their time, and they have written a lot of things on various issues, social, political, economic issues. So Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels added other ideas to this body of arguments. Karl Marx argued that industrial societies was capitalist. In the views of Karl Marx, that the industrial society was capitalist, means they are working to make profit. They are not working for the welfare of people. Capitalists want the capital investment in factories, and the profit of capitalists was produced by workers. So what the profits they are making, it is produced by the workers. Suppose today, in today's time, if there are various factories in Surat also, in Ahmedabad also, in Delhi, in Gurgaon, various places, there are various industries over there. Workers work over there. So due to the workers, the profits are making by those industries. And who is the owner of those profit? The master, the owner of that factory is the real enjoyer of the profit. So the conditions of workers could not improve as long as this profit was accumulated by private capitalists. Means in the views of this Karl Marx, what was there, if these profits are only concentrated by the capitalist in their pocket, there will be no development of the workers, and workers had to overthrow capitalist and the rule of private property. So the workers had to come forward. They had to start movement. They had to struggle for their welfare, and they have to ask from these capitalists the share of this profit. Marx believed that to free themselves from capitalist exploitations, workers had to construct a radically socialist society where all property was socially controlled. This would be communist society. He was convinced that workers would triumph in their conflict with capitalists. A communist society was natural society of the future. Means this was the imagination of Karl Marx during the 19th century, and he imagined the coming society, that if the workers will work for their welfare, then the society will be in that manner. So another thing, let us see that this topic is longer. Okay, so let me finish another topic also here. Support for socialism. Who supported this? By the 1870s, socialist ideas spread through Europe. throughout the Europe, means 1870s, means later by the end of the 19th century. To coordinate their efforts, socialists formed an international body, namely the Second International. So it was this Second International was an organization of socialist people. Workers in England and Germany began forming association to fight for better living and working conditions. So as we have seen in the previous topics also, that after industrialization the society was moving towards complexity. There was problems of sanitation, towns were being set up, so working conditions were not well defined. People were the workers were not getting appropriate remuneration or the wages, so there was a conflict between the employers and employee. So they set up funds to help members in times of distress and demanded a reduction of working hours and right to vote. So the laborers demanded these things. In Germany, these associations worked closely with Socialist Democratic Party and helped it win parliamentary seats. By 1905, socialist and trade unions formed a Labour Party in Britain and a Socialist Party in France. So, however, till 1914, that is the beginning of the First World War, socialists never succeeded in forming a government in Europe. So socialists were growing up, but they were not enjoying the power. Real power were not with them. So represented by strong figures in parliamentary politics, their ideas did not shape legislation, but the governments continued to be run by conservatives, liberals and radicals, which ideas were prevailing. So that's all in this video. In next video we will start with the full-fledged topic of this chapter, that will be the Russian Revolution. Till then, keep watching. If you are liking this video, please smash on like button and click on subscribe button. Thank you. Have a nice day.